Welcome to series item number 2, and I want to focus this 5-minute video on a concept called betting progressions. So what this is about is that as you start reading books, half the books you read on Blackjack will review a concept called betting progressions. And so what this is about is the fact that if you go to a blackjack table and you simply, let's say you have a few $100s, and every hand you bet $15 for that, over a certain number of hands, based on what the house advantage is for basic strategy, you get to lose all your money. So as a result, there's a need to develop for you what's your choice of a betting progression. So let me give an example. When you sit down at the table, and usually the 15 is about the minimum, the recommendation that I use for my play is works in that the first bet, let's say the minimum is $15, the first bet you would make would be $30. The second bet, win or lose, is going to be $15. The next bet is going to be back to $30. And then if you keep winning, you can keep increasing the amount that you're piling on, or if you lose, you start all over again by going 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I've found to be effective here is to tout different types of betting progression based on your comfort level with the amount of money that's being played. I've been also impressed because one of the things I like to do is if you're playing at a multi-shoe deck, you actually know that if you're showing badly against a dealer, you can actually fold and get back half your bet. So what I actually like to do is what I call a look bet. And what that means is that I'll stay within the betting progression of 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 times the original bet. But then if I'm up, several $100s or so, I'll all of a sudden make one bet that's sort of out of character. Instead of waiting and saying, I'm doing 2 times the 15, I'll stop and say, hey, let me take a look bet at 5 or 10 or 15 times what I would normally have done to get a different potential outcome. What you'll find is that if you make that big bet and you're in good position, like for example, if you get a blackjack, that's perfect because now you've jumped up the amount of cash you're working with nicely. If you're at a shoe and you've made that jump up bet and the dealer has you by the nuts, so for example, if you're sitting there with 16 and the dealer's showing a 10 or an implied 20, you can fold that hand, get half your bet back, and not get all the pain from having jumped up there. That look bet I just recommended to you is really great when you're doing well, you've already won some money, you're now basically playing with house money, trying to ramp up the level of betting you're at. And that move is definitely risky, as you can tell, but the beauty of it is if it works out nicely, you all of a sudden jump the amount that you're working with based on the dealers helping you to move up into a completely different realm of betting. And this facilitates the chance to actually make a lot more money. The other thing that I would encourage you to really study carefully and try to understand how you're going to handle this is what do you do against dealer 12? Dealer 12 and dealer 13. I ask you this because there's a bunch of different literature on hitting or not hitting with the dealer 12 or 13 showing if you're in a weak position. The reason is that it turns out that the 12 and 13 are unique in the number of cards that the dealer can actually beat you on. So think about it. If the dealer gets a 10, obviously they bust, but anything other than a 10 results in you losing. And so if there's a lot of cards in there that the dealer can pull out and beat you, it might be a better deal to take a hit on a hand that you normally shouldn't. So, for example, if you have a 12 and the dealer has a 12, do you take a hit or not? If you have a 13 and the dealer has a 12, same question. I don't have a hard and fast rule of what I do, but by reading up on this, you get an opportunity to look at the data. I have more to add, but I want to limit these to 5 minutes apiece. But I think you'll see that there's a whole bunch of material that you'll pick up to handle certain situations that I think you might find helpful. But let's just leave it at betting progressions as being one of the biggest issues you have to figure out, because the same bet every hand results in you losing all your money in a prescribed amount of time.